Bust it.
Hello out there. Thanks for joining us on Political Platform. It's a Monday, and we have all the notes we have taken for you in the course of the weekend. Political stories and those ones that will really indeed excite you. We have your mails too through politicalplatform@yahoo.com. You can share with us your views, your opinion, and you also tell us how we can correct some of the ills you identify. And that makes your communication with us complete. My name is Okiri Agbonsuremi. John Shagaya, former minister and senator, lost his life at the weekend in the road accident. That was one ugly one, and we indeed got statements from across the political leaders and the stakeholders who believe that that incident is an ugly one. Unfortunately, we continue to lose our very as citizens on our roads as a result of so many factors. Roads, even where the roads are good, our attitude and discipline on the road continue to be a source of worry to those who are managing the Federal Road Safety Commission, working very hard to be sure that we go by the rules on our roads. The state of the vehicle, and then our attitude, most importantly, related to that. We sympathize with the family, and we ask that God will give them the fortitude to bear the loss. One of the ugly things that happened at the weekend is the resurgence of pictures. Imagine when you get to see the videos and the pictures of children who are sometimes under 10 at the queue to vote, you begin to wonder what is happening. Really, really, really sad one for everybody yesterday, including very top leaders and officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission, who they themselves were embarrassed by the sheer number of young persons on the queue to vote in the local government elections in Kano. Now, so many angles to take a look at it. Were they indeed really registered to vote, or the PVCs were procured for them to go and vote? So many ways to do. Some officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission believe that those PVCs were probably also procured by adults and given to the younger ones, because it's unbelievable how these younger ones will queue up to register to vote with their PVCs. But some others says no, there are even previous pictures that were on the streets, on the social media and everywhere during the registration, and that there were a lot of cries from the NGOs, from the civil society organizations that persons who are obviously underage are putting their names on the voter register. That is the question you begin to ask. We have 74 million so far officially from the Independent National Electoral Commission as those who are on the voter register. But who are these people? Are these children? And we also have the good news of the release of 2 lecturers and their driver from the University of Maiduguri who were abducted in July last year. The good news is that they were released by their abductors, thanks to all the negotiating prowess of the federal government and the Amnesty International and such other groups that combined to do a negotiation. It's not clear whether money was given, but the authorities of the University of Maiduguri and students and staff, they are excited that these individuals are back. Remaining one of them who has not been released, who in the course of the geological survey, the prospecting for oil in the Chad Basin, that they were adopted by militants. We thank God that they were released alive, and it reminds me and the ladies on this platform, where they have always continued to ask, have we forgotten the Chibok girls, those who have not been released, over 100 of them that are still out there? What has indeed happened to them? and what negotiations are on. Okiri Agbonsoremi here. Mechi Anakwe is on the platform. Mechi, welcome to the program.
Thank you, and you're welcome to the program.
And I have Uju Eje on the platform. So Uju, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Okiri.
And Ijoma Osamo has dragged the director in charge of voter education in the FCT to the studio this morning. It's exciting to have her in the studio. We are going to be getting her to answer some of the questions that you have asked us. Ijoma, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Okiria. Okiria, I think it is we need to talk more about the underage voting, because this time you don't need to blame INEC for it, because INEC will not be there to know how old these children are. But did
INEC register them?
No, that's where I'm going to. Those officials that are conducting the registration exercise in that part of the country, they are supposed to. I know it will be embarrassing, but what you need to do is to ask these children, come, how old are you? You don't look 18.
So shouldn't INEC take responsibility for that if they were actually registered?
You should. You made a point during your prologue. You said either they bought the PVC for them, somebody, an adult will go register and give it. You said this matter of double registration. I think INEC needs to take it up. Anybody found wanting should be jailed, because when you have a PVC and you go about doing another registration, it is clear that you want to give that your second PVC to someone else to go do that. A lot of people come from outside Nigeria to register during the registration.
And maybe they buy the PVCs from them.
Yes, but INEC can still improve on the method they use in registering voters, prospective voters. Simple. If you know that you do not trust the person that is coming to do that registration, tell the person to go get age declaration. There's nothing wrong about that.
If you do that, is it proper to allow these children to vote? Because when it is a clear case that this person is just a child, like the ones I met in one of the northern states when I covered the elections there, I asked her, I said, hold up your voter card. They held it up. How old are you? They couldn't speak English very well, but at least they understood their name and their age. Some were telling me 7, 6. And I had everything on camera. So I'm not talking about something I don't have proof of. Is it proper also for INEC to allow them to vote?
Look,
there are 2 stages. The stages at the point of registration, and the other stage is at the point of voting. Now, I wouldn't know which one takes precedence. It's quite matter of the chicken and the egg. Now, if they have been registered, the man who is conducting the elections will assume that somebody has done his due diligence to say that this could be Aki and Popo, who is small in size, but is of age. Or something is wrong at the 2 ends of the processes.
Okay, when INEC cancelled elections that were conducted with the alternative, not with the card reader, we're talking about the manual register. People kept shouting that you cannot deprive people from voting. But I think that is one point. If you check the fingerprint of those children, I want to bet you that they didn't read.
Well, you recall that last week on this program, I raised this concern when the issue of underage voting and even foreigners also registering. I raised it and I asked anybody, just move over to the nearest registration point for the continuous voter registration exercise. They will not ask you for your birth certificate.
Because you don't even if you have a birth certificate, it can be forged.
Well, we know you describe how it could be procured.
Yes, you walk to any of the offices. They will
talk of the national identity card.
It's not there.
When you're registering for the national identity card, do they ask for documentation from your local government, from this, from that? These are
to be sure that the data you are giving them.
Yes, even your age is correct. So it's a huge problem. It's a huge problem for Nigeria, not just for voters registration, but for the whole issue of managing our identity. We need to really do a lot to find out who we are, how many we are, and how many foreigners are amongst us. It will help us a lot in going forward.
And we still need to activate the say something attitude in Nigeria.
Well, we'll continue to talk about it, but let's go to our mailbox as it is now. Let's see what you have to say, monitoring all the events from your own angle. Tell us what you see, what you also hear.
It's the mail segment, and I am Ifeanyi Nwobi.
I am Chidinma Enyi. You're welcome. Reacting to the recall of the NHIS boss, Shegu Bansho in Kuje, Abuja says,
The reinstatement of the Executive Secretary of the NHIS, who was suspended over serious allegations of fraud, corruption and nepotism, is unfortunate, preposterous and a big setback to the fragile war on corruption. By this reinstatement, a culture of insubordination and impunity is being unwittingly endorsed by the president. I thereby join other Nigerians in calling for a reversal in the recall of the Executive Secretary until he is cleared by the Ministerial Probe and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission.
And on latest development on security in Nigeria, Shaibu Abdullahi in Jikoi, Abuja says, "Why we look forward for solutions against the killings of innocent Nigerians by the herdsmen, more problems continue to loom. Within the weekend, innocent people were killed in southern Kaduna, and policemen on patrol were ambushed by herdsmen in Benue State. And I'll ask these questions. Are these herdsmen spirits? Can't we dialogue with their leaders at different levels? What are the roles of our traditional rulers? I advise the traditional rulers to help the people by organizing meetings between farmers and herdsmen at all levels to ensure peaceful coexistence. It's obvious that the government concentrates on using security apparatus to arrest the situation without any measure for conflict resolutions. Dialogue is the answer. Humanity is greater than our differences. The killings must stop. God bless my country."
Towing that line, Chidike Jofo in Kuje, Abuja says all criticisms against the rustic pastoral cattle rearing as practiced by our Fulani brothers are mostly on the economic front, leaving out a critical aspect that must stir a deeper thinker. Any student of history or anthropology readily understands that real development for man started only after he transited from nomadic life to a settled one, which enabled him to live with his works and perfect them. But in his nomadic time, all works are abandoned along his trail. No sooner than he started something than he abandoned it again, leaving everything unfinished along his trail. The implication is that he could not grow through perfecting his works, and his world view was shrunk to himself. We don't want a Kalahari desert in Nigeria, whose inhabitants many scholars have advocated should be preserved as a living material for the study of human evolution. Can this people of our time be helped?
And Monday Ame in Abuja titles this one on the release of 3 lecturers of the University of Maiduguri and 10 women abducted by the Boko Haram sect last year. He says, "Their political platform crew, I wish to use this medium to congratulate the families of the 3 lecturers of the University of Maiduguri Unimed and the husbands of 10 wives of policemen abducted in a raid by the Boko Haram sect on a military police convoy in Damboa Road, near Maiduguri last year, July, who finally regained their freedom 4 days ago after 6 months in captivity in the hands of their abductors. I commend our gallant security agents and the International Committee of the Red Cross, ICRC, for working round the clock and facilitating the negotiation leading to their final release. With their freedom, there is renewed hope and optimism that the remaining abducted Chibok schoolgirls and other persons in Boko Haram captivity will soon regain freedom. Finally, I call on federal government to ensure psychology therapy are urgently provided for the 13 of them in order to relieve them of the psychological trauma and excruciating pain they went through in the hands of their abductors. God bless Nigeria.
That's all we can bring your way in today's mail segment. To keep it coming, the route hasn't changed. It's still political platform at Yahoo.
Thank you so much. We are always excited to share your mails, and from your deep thoughts, we can indeed get to share those your views that can assist us, and those who are also taking notes are leaders to know exactly how you feel. Political platform at yahoo.com. That's the route to reach us. Now, we talked about, we're going to devote a lot of time to answering some of the questions you have sent to us on the continued voter registration by the Independent National Electoral Commission, a well thought out plan. We must commend INEC for starting it on time. It has always been there, but Nigerians are getting sensitized now to besiege the various locations, and we have a lot of challenges. The Independent National Electoral Commission had to come up with an idea to move the voting point at the registration point closer to you, particularly in local governments in areas that are so wide and far apart, such that they have centers they have delineated, they have set up to say, look, between one date and the other, they will move it closer to people. Many Nigerians are complaining that in spite of that, they are not satisfied with the arrangements. Ndidi Okafor is the HOD, the head of the Department of Voter Education and the publicity of the Independent National Electoral Commission in its office in Abuja here, where we have had a lot of complaints. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you. Good
I
morning,
must also tell
Abuja.
you that Ndidi Okafor is a journalist. She's been in the turf of journalism, covering politics. I remember that we covered the political parties together those days of the five fingers of one political party running from one place to the other across Nigeria, talking about the early 90s. So she's been around. She understands what it takes to gather this information. But she's also privileged now. She's helping the Independent National Electoral Commission to do voter education at the FCT. And she's joining us to explain some of those things that you need to know. Now, let us into what your plans have been in the FCT, because it is actually what is happening in FCT that is a reflection of what is happening around Nigeria. So people can begin to learn, follow you on how we are doing the continued voter registration.
Thank you very much. Good morning, great Nigerians in Abuja. And I'm glad to be in the midst of very senior colleagues. Ohiri, I'm grateful to you for helping me learn the ropes. I met you on the job and you taught me. And I think I've done right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'd like to begin this way. I'd like to say to great Nigerians that we will have to work together to get to where we want to be. But certainly, we are not where we used to be. Now, this exercise, as you had rightly pointed out, started on Thursday, April the 27th, 2017. It was flagged off nationwide here in the Federal Capital Territory.
That is the continued voter registration.
Yes, started last year. Was flagged off nationwide from this great city. And when we started, it was just with 6 registration centers.
That's in Abuja.
In Abuja. And ditto the states,
those 6
areas.
Those 6 registration centers were at the base of the local government headquarters.
Absolutely. And I was just going to say that it wasn't peculiar to the FCT. That was the plan. The registration centers were domiciled in the states according to the number of local government areas. And here in the FCT, we have 6 registration centers. So we started in the offices of the commission in the 6 area councils. Now, stakeholders made very valid presentations.
In the course of the exercise?
Absolutely. And the commission, which is a listening commission, heard and added 16 more, second only then to Lagos State, and that brought the number to 22. Now, the demands continued.
Were they continuous at these centers, at these additional, in addition to the old centers, were they continuous at the same time?
Absolutely,
okay.
Yes. And then further demands were made. The commission added another 11 centers. So progressively, from 6 to 22 and now to 33. Now, this is not to negate valid demands. This is not to say that Nigerians don't have the right to ask for further improvements.
Yeah.
But all that I am saying is that this is a listening commission, that the commission has progressively increased the number of centers, and they are at the ward registration centers.
Now, let me stop you here. Let me come to Ijoma. Ijoma is our correspondent covering INEC too and running around. She also complained on this program that she was not able to register at some point. I don't know if you have registered now. You have not found time to go back.
No.
So what were the challenges you noticed?
Yes, the challenges, because the last time I went for sightseeing, I went to report the early stage of continuous voter registration exercise. I went to Area 10, that's the FCT office, and I was given a sheet of paper where you have the centers in the FCT.
Yeah.
And when it was my turn to register, I went back to Area 10 and they told me you need to.
What do you mean by when it was your turn? Were you giving the Italian number?
No, when I mean my turn, I was ready to do my registration, okay. I went back to Area 10 and they told me you need to go to Apo Dusi
or you go to Apo resettlement area.
Because these are still within the Garki area.
Yes, within the Garki area. So I went to, initially I went to resettlement. They said they've moved, that I should go to Apo Dusi. I went there, I didn't meet anybody. Somebody now told me they don't operate on Saturdays. I went on Monday. I also went there, I didn't meet anybody.
On Monday?
Yes. But I was lucky to meet Ndidi Okafo, who told me that the place now is no more at that distance.
That's where I want to go.
Ohiria has the place on continuous.
Yeah, because when they continuous at this center
of the registration at its designated point, sometimes they say it's been moved
to another place. Now let me get back to Ndidi Okafo. This continuous registration exercise at these 32 or 33 locations, are they actually continuous all at the same time, or it is actually created to move one time to closer to the people? How is it operated?
Let me provide this information. Now, the decision to rotate the centers.
It is called rotation.
Yes, within the wards were reached when stakeholders, political leaders came to the commission to complain. Because most of us live here, we're blessed, have opportunity to stay here in the city center.
Yeah.
We probably do not know that there are a lot of difficult terrains in the FCT. We probably don't know of a place like Gugugu.
Where is that?
Or Choribisa. Now, these are very difficult terrains to get to in Orozo. And yet, they're here in Amak. There are wards
they are under the Abuja municipal area.
Absolutely, and it's under the Orozo Karishi ward. And this principle is meant to reach Nigerians, whether they are great or small, whether they're rich or poor. The commission is to serve all Nigerians that are eligible to register.
So you rotate the center closer to the people because of the distance to.
Yes, absolutely, because that's the only way we can reach them before this exercise winds up 60 days to the conduct of the elections. There are centers that you will have to go navigate through Niger.
Now, because of time,
get to Gawu, for instance.
Yeah, because of time, maybe we'll need to accommodate you at some other time to provide this. But I want the prospective voter to go away after listening to you today with something. This exercise is ongoing as we speak. How do they know which particular center has been rotated? Because you have published a list of locations, about 33 of them. Now, people have this list, they see them, they go to that place, they discover that they were not informed or they are not aware. How do they know the current location where your officials are?
Thank you very much. The officials are employees of the commission, and they've been trained to put a notice each time they leave a particular place.
To say this is where they are
This is where we're moving to. They've been trained to do that, and they are doing it. And we ask for understanding, we ask for support.
So if you want to register and you get to a location and they are not there, please locate a poster that is placed there so you know where you can track, particularly that you need to put your name on the register. Now, the other question that we want to ask you is, if I track them to the next location, how am I sure that my voting point will be where I will need to vote?
There's no problem at all. At each registration center, there's what we call the polling unit guide. So all of you here in Asokoro belong to the Garki ward.
Yes.
So you track them, for instance, at the Apo Town Hall. Once you say to the officers that you live in Asokoro, they'll scroll down all the polling units here in Asokoro, and you will choose the one nearest to you.
Oh, that's beautiful. It means it is not just like even if you go to, for instance, Orozo, and you are living in a particular place, they will locate where your voting point.
Because the polling unit guide is at every center.
Well, I wouldn't know if my colleagues, just before we go, would you have a voter? You don't have any issues.
I really haven't had time to go.
All right,
but I'll try. I must do it.
Okay, please, because the qualification.
I think you better follow me. I'm following her now to go to my registration.
Ndidi Okafo is the HOD in charge of voter education and publicity at the FCT. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
The two ladies, you rotate with that.
Exactly. Please.
And that is how we're wrapping up the program this morning. When we come back tomorrow, we'll have more. Please, if you have more inquiries, send them to us. we also will ask them, and we hope that indeed they can find time to join us as often as we want her to. If she cannot join us,
have Nigeria, my great country.
She cannot join us physically. She can always join us on phone. Have a wonderful week ahead.
Thank you.